for the hat, I run the Anubis Underworld hat because of the stats in Mojo Blizzard. I feel like Mojo Blizzard is really good for Witch. Like it only doesn't do damage, but it debuffs movement by 50% for 5 turns, which is pretty good, honestly. I got this from the Draconians in Zigzag. I think more specifically the Buccaneer ones. I have the Corrupted Mushi's robe, the Witch Mumanchu robe. I personally use this for the powers, but there's also other alternatives to this. You can always run the Caucasian Underworld garb if you want to get that Mojo buff, or you gotta sacrifice health for it. And if you want the additional stats, you can get the Underworld garb from Moedo, and you could also get the robe of Houdini. This is dropped by multiple Moribund bosses, I believe, so you shouldn't have too hard of a time getting this if you want an extra fortress. Alright, and for the boots, I have the Agrabah Witch boots. Now, I am aware these can be pretty hard to get, so if you don't already have these and you want to go for them, Godspeed. But I really mainly go for these because the Mojo Rising free, so I don't have to worry too much about my poor accuracy since Mojo Rising free uses your will against the enemy's will to attack, so I don't have to worry about my accuracy and their dodge since Wish's accuracy is typically pretty low. And I do find my girl critting a lot anyways, so Mojo Rising free helps out quite a bit. Alternatives can also be the Underworld Warlords boots. This is why I always ran before I got the Agrabah boots. The stats and extra heal are pretty nice. I like it. You can get this from Claw. Now the one's pretty obvious, Sinnoh Staff. Like this is the best pure witch one in the game right now. So you might as well get that summon. You might as well get that 6 range. The summon is pretty good. I would recommend going for it. I don't think I'd really offer any alternatives. Sure, you can get the Lunar Anubite Staff, but you might as well just get Sinnoh Staff. It's much better than that, in my opinion. You can also get this from the Beast, by the way. I forgot to mention. The patch of Saint Rex. Now, this patch, you gotta spend crowns for, of course. This costs 2.7k crowns, so I would recommend getting this if you want the extra stats and spell power. But if you don't want to spend crowns on this, alternatives can be Sinbad's Daring Stripes. This is what I recommend using if you don't want to run a patch of Saint Rex. Or you can go ahead and run the Eye Patch of Recuperation. I think the Eye Patch of Recuperation also drops from a variety of bosses in Maribone. And you can get the Sinbad patch from various bosses and mobs in the Tamagoyoku Tower. Now for the charm. I'm running the Marshal's Medallion for the Absorb. I think it's pretty good. You know, I run 1 for 2 absorbs on this character for defensive purposes, and it works really well. If you don't want to run an absorb on this slot, you can always go ahead and run the Earthen Charm, or use the Stormzilla egg if you have it for the extra fort. Especially nowadays in late game content, forts and absorbs are going to matter a lot, especially on the squishier classes. Right here, I'm also running another absorb, Spirit Walker's Charm. I believe you can get this from the Bird with No Name in Cool Ranch. You can do a chain of side quests to get to the boss, but it is a little hard to get, at least in my experience, so I do wish you luck on that if you're planning on getting it from him. There's also other bosses that can drop this, but I remember farming the Bird with No Name years ago. Oh, and by the way, about the Marshal's Medallion, you can get this drop from a variety of bosses. But the one I farmed, I believe, was Captain Foot, the side quest version. You have to look him up, but he is one of the bosses that can drop this. I would recommend this boss because he dropped this the easiest for me, and he also dropped the Wrangler's Ring. So that's 2 absorbers right there. That's really good. And I totally forgot about the hat options. You can always run the Scout's headband too if you want the extra absorb there as well. But I just run Anubis for the extra attack and stats. And now for the ring. I run the Sinbad's gold ring. I typically run one more since my absorbs a lot on spell power, so I feel like I get more value out of those than fortresses. You know, I get the extra health, I got the fort, the hold the wine rank, it'll actually come in handy, but you'll never know. I remember one time I was doing a solo. I kind of misplayed at one point. Um, a mob came charging, but they ran to my hold the wine. Thankfully, they didn't attack me. They're going for a companion behind me. So this ring is pretty handy to have. In my opinion, this is the slot I would put a fortress on, but of course, you can always use a fortress on your totem slot or outfit slot. And the pet's pretty obvious, you know. You got a moisturizing, ready spell, elusive, Witchdoctor pet. You could swap out elusive for Mojo Echo if you want. Either pet, I believe, is fine. The setting, speech, and rally are really nice too. They're really nice pulls. Took me a while to get this pet. So you may have noticed something. You may have noticed that I don't run Ready Spell 5. I haven't run Ready Spell 5 for months. I just simply got bored of it and I wanted to use more powers instead of slots for epics. So I took away 2 ranks of Ready Spell for some more powers. But if you want Ready Spell 5, you can always get the Upcase Underworld hat from Shady Gillies and Tartarus. Or if you want to run Ready Spell 5, another way you can always use the Sinbad Silver Trinket or Gold Trinket from the Tamagoyaki Tower. Or if you even have the Hoodoo robe in this slot or the Witch Agrabah robe, you can run Ready Spell here. But personally, I don't really run it anymore because, you know, Witch's accuracy isn't the greatest anyway, so I'm probably going to be likely to miss. You know, unless I crit, obviously, but I don't want to rely on a crit just to knock somebody back. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, just brief showcase of my Witch setup. If you guys want any more gear showcases, you can always comment down below. You can always like the video and subscribe if you haven't. I'll really appreciate it. We're close to 200 subscribers. I would really love if we could hit that. So with all that out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and see you guys later. Bye.